Hello everyone, how's it going? Elliot here again. In today's video, we're going to be continuing on in the process of repairing the new 3DS. In the last video, I repaired the power board. In fact, I just replaced it. It was completely broken for whatever reason, maybe a blown fuse or something. And it was fun for me to experience taking apart one of the newer model of 3DSs. One of the problems we're now facing is that the 3D slider doesn't work. Not that I'm planning on using the 3D anyway, but it's actually a step in the setup to get this thing working. As you can see, it asks to slide the 3D slider up to the top, and when I do that and press next, it still doesn't recognize that it's all the way up there. And I've tried, in the last video, I tried putting some isopropyl down there. I even reflowed the solder on the switch and it just wasn't working. So what I have done is ordered a brand new ribbon cable, and it has come down. Here it is. I'm very, very nervous about this because apparently these 3DSs are very, very tricky to take apart, but I'm going to give it a go anyway and see what I can do. So here it is, and yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and see what I can do. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take apart the 3DS and just get the board off, and then we're going to talk about getting the ribbon cables through the front, and we'll see how tricky that's going to be. So let's go ahead and pop them off. I actually also managed to find some new cover replacements. These are official Nintendo ones, and I bought these for about £3.50 or something. Obviously someone got some new ones and didn't want these ones anymore. And I'm going to definitely be swapping them out at the end, because although this design is quite cool if you're into Dragon Ball Z, I am not. So I'm going to get rid of that and pop these official Nintendo ones on afterwards. Right, so I'm now at a point where I have replaced the ribbon cable here, which houses the volume slider and 3D slider on it. Unfortunately, the little black clip which goes on the button has actually snapped off, so I now no longer have that on there. So even now I've gone through the setup and set this thing up, I can't adjust the 3D slider. You can see up there that 3D is actually working because the screen's flicking a bit, but no matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to actually adjust the 3D. So what I'm going to do now that I've gone through the settings menu, I don't plan to use the 3D anyway on this thing because I'm not a massive fan of the 3D. What I'm going to do is just slide the slider down with a screwdriver, and then I've got myself a working new 3DS, or almost, because there's another problem. So the R button is permanently being pressed and the home button doesn't work. So there's two pretty big problems, and I have a feeling I know why the home button doesn't work. And as for the R button, I'm really not very sure. But as you can see up here, it's registering that the R button is pressed. So if I just press the L button, it opens the camera, because typically you're meant to hold R and L and it opens the camera. So that's a little bit of a problem. But what I'm going to do is take that apart quickly and just have a look and see if I can address that problem. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so the ribbon cable for the home button is this one right here. And as you can see, if I just put my tweezers underneath, it literally falls out. And as you might be able to see, on top of that ribbon, there's some little metal contacts. And basically, that little connector under there holds that ribbon down with pressure, and it only holds it down with pressure. I could either replace that connector and then have a working home button, or don't use the home button because I think replacing one of these connectors is going to be very, very tricky. So what I've done is just bent that the top of that connector down, and hopefully that will now make it make a contact, but I don't know until I turn it back on again, and to do that I have to put the whole thing back together. So the next thing to address is this R button. Now, I don't remember this being a problem before, so I'm not actually sure what's wrong with this. So maybe I just had the connector on the wrong way around. That is possible. Let's sit that back in there and then try the R button. If it doesn't work, I'll turn the connector around. Okay, there we go. So the R button is now working fine. And let's see, is the home button working? Let's just open up any app, I guess. Okay, no, it doesn't look like the home button is working. That's still not functioning. Okay, that's a bit of a shame. But in order to get back to the menu, I can just obviously turn it off. So here is the slider for the 3D. If I just turn that all the way down to the bottom and put it back together, hopefully now we won't have any problems with the 3D. I'm really, really gutted that it came down broken. I'm definitely going to email the seller. Right, so I've closed it all back up again, and what I'm going to do just to finish it off is just a little bit of Mr. Sheen and give it a nice wipe down. And whilst I do that, let's just quickly talk about this thing. So it's been a lot of good experience for me. If it hasn't been completely successful in all aspects, it's been a good experience. I've replaced the power board, I've replaced the ribbon cable. It hasn't been a cost-effective thing. You know, I sent a guy an offer the other day for a new 3DS, and he accepted it for 50 quid. And this has definitely cost me more than 50 quid. Obviously, this one came boxed, and it was the Dragon Ball Z edition. But none of those things really matter to me because I want to play this, and I'm not a fan of Dragon Ball Z, and I replaced the faceplates anyway. But I ended up having to buy new faceplates, a new ribbon cable, that new power board, and we're still not even at a completely working DS. It's not in terrible condition cosmetically. You know, you can see there that it does look pretty brand new. It's missing the stylus. There we go. We now have ourselves a new 3DS, and I'm very happy with that. And we've now got two very, very tricky DS refurbs that I've done. This also gives us a good opportunity just to try out if the game cartridge slot even works, because oh my goodness, if this doesn't work, then I'm going to call it a day with this thing. And there we go. Okay, so the 3D is off and the game runs fine, and the screen's not flickering anymore with that weird stuff. So that's brilliant. All the buttons seem to work, which is nice. Thank goodness we've actually got a DS working out of this. Goodness gracious me. That is absolutely going to conclude this video. I really, really hope you have all enjoyed this little series. It really has been a very fun endeavor for me. Oh, the sleep function works. That's another thing that we can tick off the list. It's been a very, very big adventure for me. All in all, this thing has definitely not been a cost-effective thing. I've probably spent the exact same amount of money as it would have been if I just went onto eBay and bought a fine working one. So buying this faulty has not necessarily been the best thing to do. It's obviously still got some problems, but I do now have a working new 3DS, and the most important thing is I have experience doing it. When you buy something new and you look at it and you just think, what on earth is going on in here that makes this thing run? And then you have a problem with it, you take the whole thing apart and you have the whole thing just stripped out on your desk. you then just understand it. And I guess it just makes you feel like, I don't know, the structures and the architecture of this thing is just, it makes a lot more sense. And I think that gives me a lot of confidence going forward with other repairs and stuff like that. So if you have enjoyed this video, let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Leave a like if you want as well. The links to my t-shirts and hats are in the description as always, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.